Shalom, 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 shalom to the 12 tribes that are abroad. It's your brother Kadar Malat. Come back at you with another video, another cold cut, going into the Standard of Esther. Love not the world. And I wanted to come and bring more some sister content, you know what I'm saying, to Israel. I feel like we do some of it, but we can do more, so we can increase it through the spirit. The Most High told us through the spirit to increase right in works and through the spirit. I'll get this precept that the house of the righteous, when we see with David and Saul, they're going to wax mightier and mightier through the spirit. Okay, so can I share my screen? Let's kick it off with this one real quick. So this is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 3 and verse 1. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David waxed stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker. So just like when you read Revelations 3 and 2, we want to make sure we're growing and increasing through the spirit. And how do we increase if we don't know where we're going? The Most High said, where no vision is, the people perish. You have to show them and give them the vision. You have to show and teach the sisters and teach the men that's coming up in leadership, the soldiers, the prospects, show them what in the way and how they should go. And what is the expectation and the performance that is expected of these men, women, and children. Now, Saul, he ruled around 1040 BC, right? It's like 1040, 1050 BC. Then David ruled 1010 BC, so about 970 BC. And then 970 BC to 940 BC, we have the mighty, right? Solomon primarily at that time. So through the spirit, the Most High was 930 BC. So the spirit of the Most High, he showed that this man David waxed stronger and stronger for his 40 years, but Saul waxed weaker and weaker for his time. Okay, so we want to increase. Now I want to get this book of Titus, right? Chapter 2. So again, the Standard of Esther. Okay, the Standard of Esther. I want to get the definition of the word stand. I want to get the definition. Now, standard is what you're essentially aiming for, what you're hoping for, and what you see is the standard and the performance of where you should be. So when we go into this video, we're going into right the Standard of Esther. We gotta see what level she was on. What level she was on. We gotta see what level she was on and what spirit she moved in and how we can equate that to our lives. All right. So let's get I'm gonna get the definition right here because Satan is stopping that. This is the etymology from Etymology Online. The adjective standard. It says serving as a standard. Let's jump down to standard bread 1530s. Bread up to some agreed upon standard of excellence. Jumping on down to standard now to, meaning weight, measure, or instrument by which the accuracy of others is determined. Right. So standard is level and expectation. That's primarily what it's going to. Right. Now let's get Titus 2, right? It's the book of Titus, chapter 2, and let's start at 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. So women, or especially the aged women, they have to have behavior that's becoming holiness. I can't go to the Torah and pull a law that says thou shalt stone every woman that twerk. I can't pull that. But we know that twerking all out in the damn world isn't a behavior that becomes holiness, man. It's not set apart behavior. Not false accusers. That's what women do in the world. I knew you was gonna do this, and my intuition and my stomach and my heart told me, and I had a feeling you was down low. You don't know if that man's down low. He's just saying something, man. You can't be a false accuser, bearing false witness. Not giving too much wine, right? Not drunk women all out of it, man. Drinking their life away, living in pleasure. Teachers of good things, that they may teach the young woman to be sober. So the Most High really put on the spirit of the women to primarily teach, right, the young woman. That's what's supposed to be going down. You're supposed to be learning from your grandmother, your auntie, your TT, big mama. You're supposed to be learning from these women. They're supposed to really primarily teach you. I'm a man. I can't teach you how to sew. I can't teach you how to submit to your husband in physical time. I haven't did it. So really, truly, the women are supposed to be teaching as well, the younger woman, but the men can go and break down the scriptures and feed it to all Israel, and that's how the word go forth. It says to love their husbands, all right, what you're commanded to do, to love their children, right, what you need to do, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Now, again, this is the spirit really what we should be in, right, as Israel, but we know we're rebuilding, we're trying to get back together. Our aged women are drunk. Our aged women don't know how to break nothing down. Our aged women don't know nothing about how to be a gold digger and steal money and teach you worldly wicked proverbs, man. So we got to go into the precepts and break it down so our sisters can get to understand it. Now, it says the aged woman, right? Now, we know, like the Most High said in let's look at Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So everything was written for aforetime, so we can what? So we can learn. Okay, so really, an aged woman who's going to teach us is really Esther. That's what we're going to cover today. If Esther could talk to us indirectly, right? How would she talk to us? Well, she's talking to us through her actions. Okay, Esther is talking to her us through her action. So let's cover the standard of Esther, because this is written for our learning. Okay, so let's go to Esther 1. Esther 1, and let's start at 11. It says, but I'm gonna start at 11. It says to bring right Vashti. I'm keeping it like that. Vashti, the queen before the king, with the crown royal to shew the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So right here, right, we see a heathen woman, right? Hey, the king said, you know what, Vashti, I want you to come over here, and I want you to show your beauty off to my homies, man. And this is the spirit that some brothers had. I show my woman off. Hey, look at this dime piece. Look what I got. First off, Xerxes wasn't even in the right mind. Why are you coming to show other men your woman so they could lust after her? Oh yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, okay. I know it sounds like a damn New Edition. If I had it, what would you do? No, if I had, I know what I would do. And that's off, right? Right? You're not supposed to bring your woman before all your homies so you can show off. Now that's what Jake do innately out of their pride and boastfulness. But that wasn't even a good spirit in the first place. Is to bring your woman just so they can look at her, which is going to turn to lust. I mean, if your woman is beautiful and you're pushing her all in somebody's face, somebody's going to think about her in a wicked way. That's why the Most High tells our women to what? To not sit at all with a man at the wine. Greatly paraphrasing, like I said, it's right the 9th chapter. It says, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore, the king was very wroth, and his anger burned him. So she said no. She said, no, I'm not going over there. I'm not doing that. Forget all that. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not dealing with that. And that pissed the king off. Pissed him off and pissed Xerxes off. And this really ties into really the precept Proverbs 31:30. I'm gonna get that right after this. Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king, it's like before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. Now, if she was very beautiful, to be fair upon, what is this woman lacking? She's lacking submission to her man. She's lacking fearing her husband, right? That's tying into Proverbs, the 31st chapter, right? So you don't want to be like Vashti. Now she could have, hey, do you think this is right? I don't know. She could have asked some questions, But she said no. She didn't even say, excuse. She just said no. No, I'm not coming out there. Pack it up, Negro. You stink, you musty Elamite. Hey, we don't know what she said, but she refused. You know what that did? That gave him dishonor. That made him look out of order. That made literally the king look out of order. Let's go to Proverbs 31 and 30. Favor is deceitful, right? Charm, favor, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. So this was what it's talking about is if a woman has a lot of favor, she has a lot of beauty, but she does not fear the Lord, right? It's in vain. That's what it's talking about. But the Most High tells us in Sirach, the 36th chapter, really paraphrasing that beauty, a man loveth beauty and it cheereth his countenance, and he loveth nothing better, nothing more. Really paraphrase. So the Most High puts the spirit on man to love beauty. So it's nothing that to say beauty doesn't matter. But if you're a beauty, if you have beauty and you have deceitful favor, it's pointless. You shouldn't be known just for your beauty. You should be known for you fearing the Lord and the Most High first. And if you're beautiful, that comes along with it. But you shouldn't say, "Hey, beauty don't matter, so now I can grow a mustache and I can burp around my husband. I could break wind or let wind go," as my grandfather would say, around your man. Right? No, it's talking about you having a just balance. If you don't have the fear of the Lord and you're beautiful, it's pointless. And that's essentially what Vashti had. She did not have the fear of the Lord, right? She did not truly reverence her husband. She told him no. She said no. Told Xerxes no. That made him look like a buffoon, man. That's like you telling your woman to bring me something to drink, all your homies over, and she say no. Nigga, get up. Go get it. Don't you got legs? You ain't gonna look like you got your household in order, man. Don't you got legs, nigga? Didn't I just get you some water? Matter of fact, you give me some water. That right there can take away a man's status, which is very important to a man on a carnal level, okay? So let's go back to Esther. Let's go back to Esther. All right, back to Esther. Salakia. Let's go to another one I wanted to. Sirach 26. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 26, and verse 1. Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife. Now, the word virtuous goes into morally upright. Certain things are morally upright. You should know not to damn scream at 6 a.m. when everybody is asleep. Everybody, all nations agree. You up screaming is just morally wrong. Why are you doing that? It's incorrect. You just damn crashing into people for no reason. Everybody would say, hey, that's morally incorrect. So a lot of things are morally wrong as well. So if this man has a morally righteous, morally upright wife, who will follow the commandments of the Most High and his son, for the number of his days shall be double. So if you have a morally upright wife, you're going to have double the life that you was going to have. You're going to have double the days that you was going to have. Man. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband. And that's not what Vashti did. She didn't rejoice her husband. Now, when you go into the word rejoice, it means make glad. She didn't make her husband glad. She didn't make King happy, King Artaxerxes happy. No, she didn't rejoice her husband. You want to make your husband happy. A virtuous woman will make her husband happy. And he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. So a true, righteous, and correct woman makes her husband happy. Okay? A good wife is a good portion. So a good wife is a great thing, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord. So the Most High is going to give you a righteous woman, a holy woman, vice versa with men and women. And he's going to give that to you if you fear the Most High and you're being upright. All right? Now, let's go back to Esther. Right? We touched on Esther, the first chapter, with Vashti refusing to obey Xerxes, and Xerxes being in the spirit, a damn showing off his woman, right? Trying to show off his dime piece. Again, why am I about to take my wife and put it in another man's face? It's not even logical. Oh, hey, you see that? You see that she do a square. It's not a damn 20v1, man. You know, yeah, I got her. She did pop the balloon, ha ha, spin around, do a 360, do it. We're not doing 360s with our women, man. With 360, that's not what we into. Okay. Now, so let's go to Esther 2. So the book of Esther, chapter 2. So after he replaced her, right? Right. And the king is not about to bow and beg for Vashti. He's done with her. But he put her away. So you know, I'm gonna go get a new woman. A woman that's better. How is she better? She's beautiful and she's obedient, submissive to her man. That is how she was better. Not necessarily she had, I don't know, whatever features you would like, but she was better in her submission to her man. That sets certain women apart. Some women be like, oh, why? Why did he go after her? She's ugly. Why did he go after her? She don't look the best. She's obedient. She's cooperative. She's submissive. She's loving. She has holy and good thoughts. She's not into folly and wickedness and foolishness. Maybe that's why she dropped you. He dropped you, man. But I look better than her. Hey, that's at the end of the day, man. Looks fade, how even the proverb of the world said. Looks fade. When you're 70, your husband's not gonna be looking at you, say how beautiful you are all day. He's gonna wonder if you're gonna take care of him, but you can't stand up. Right? When he falls, he's on life alert. Right? Are you gonna be able to be a good grandmother to his grandchildren? That's what he's looking for. Not just beauty, beauty, beauty all day. All right. So Esther 2, started 2. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, Shalakia, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. So he was looking for young virgins, not 40-year-old women that had 80 husbands, man. Jumping down. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins, the beautiful young virgins, unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hege the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. So this also shows the peak of a woman's value. It's a reason why the king wasn't going for older women with a lot of trauma and so-called baggage, right? And again, a lot of previous men. This shows that your rank and your high value to a man is when you're young and you are not sleeping and dealing with multiple men. This is when you can bargain the most. This is when your father has the best case for a dowry. This is when you want to pick the correct man. Not when you're 60 and you've been married 4 times. That's not the time for you to be bucking up and pulling out all these different accounts and all this damn nonsense of being not a good cooperative woman. Now let's jump down to 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and her mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So she was very resilient. Okay. When your father and your mother is dead, and that's what it's talking about, right? When they die, it takes a lot for a little girl to go through that. Huh? A lot of our so-called women, they dealt with losing their dads, or they wasn't there. They were losing their mom. They couldn't even talk to them, speak to them. So she had a certain level of resilience for sure if her father and her mother died. Now, we don't know how they died. We don't have the account. We don't know. But hey, they passed away. And then luckily through the spirit, Mordecai, her uncle, took her as what? His own daughter. Now, let's do the precept on that, right? So Esther definitely moved in the spirit of Sirach, 22nd chapter. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 22, verse 11. Weep for the dead, for he have lost the light. So the Most High tells us to weep for the dead. The Most High don't say, be a man, don't cry, suck it up, it is what it is. No, he said, weep for the dead, mourn for the dead, and weep for their fool, for he lack of understanding. You should weep for a fool because he's never going to get it. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest. But the life of the fool is worse than death. If you're a fool, you can't retain no knowledge. It's better for you to be dead, man. That's worse than you dead, actually. That's a worser lot. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and ungodly man, all the days of his life. So truly the standard is 7 days you mourn, right? You're supposed to mourn, and after that, you don't want to forever be mourning for somebody and in a state of widowhood forever. Eventually you have to move on to a new era of life and let things go. Right? You gotta let things go. So that's what Esther had to did. Right? She grew up, no father, no mother. She had her uncle. Some chia. Mind that. Okay, Esther 2. So she was resilient. We see characteristics of her being resilient. And let's keep reading. I'm gonna jump down to 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the woman. So with her beauty, right? With her beauty, she got to a certain level. Beauty gets you to a certain level. Okay, this is off beauty. She hasn't spoken yet. She hasn't said anything yet. This is just strictly off beauty. Okay, so again, when you're a young, beautiful woman, this is when you have the best cause or case and value in a relationship or so-called pool for dowry or whatever you want to say. Okay. Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not shew it. Now that shows that she had discretion, right? That shows she had discretion. You don't want to just be out saying, what nation you are, what you're doing, because that might bring something upon you. Somebody might whisper something in the king's ear about the Jews. Some things might happen. He didn't ask, hey, he didn't ask, you ain't got to say nothing. Say it when you ask. So, she had what? Another characteristic of discretion. She had discretion. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, start on verse 22. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. You see how it keeps touching on beauty and the characteristic? Both. That is what's required. You can't be talking about you want to be polygamous as a man. You make $14 an hour and you live in your grandma's basement with 3 kids that you barely taking care of. That's out of order. You want to make sure you have your house in order, have your so-called righteous game right, have your cologne on, have your beard right, have your looks right, have your spirit right, and your finances right. That's what makes you the complete package. Okay, here you got your finances right, but you stink all the time. That's not going to work, man. That's not going to be something that's going to last long. You have to have everything together. The Most High told us to be perfect, like it says in Matthew, the 5th chapter and the last verse, man. So this is what it's going into. Yes, beautiful women matter. Yes, beauty matters. But if you do not have discretion, if you do not fear the Lord, if you do not keep the commandments and follow in the spirit of the Most High of our foremothers, Esther, Judith, Susanna, Anna, Miriam, etc., then it's kind of pointless. You don't have both sides to the book. You know what I'm saying? So if a woman is beautiful and she don't have any discretion, right, you got to get the definition of discretion. Let's get that. All right, because what is discretion? I don't know. What is discretion? I don't know what that means. What is discretion? Right? Discretion. Discretion is the power or right to decide or act according to one's own judgment. Right? Let's go down. It says, including the ability to make careful judgments and decisions, right? And the freedom to act or choose within certain limits. Right? So, and let's keep reading. Personal discretion refers to being careful and prudent about what one says and does. So, you want to make sure that you're watching what you say and do and it reveal too much. Imagine you talking to a sister, you're sitting down, and you bring up how he was clipping his toenails in the bathtub, man. You have to bring that up to your son, another sister. He was clipping his toenails. I had to get him out. And of course, that might vex somebody, but that's no discretion. It's no discretion. Let's say a new sister coming to the camp, coming to the school. You know, your husband walk by, and you go and walk up to her and say, "Don't talk to my husband. He already tried talking to 5 women in this camp." That's off. You have no discretion. You're just bringing stuff up. You have no limit. You're not reserved. You are bold in the incorrect way, confident in a plain way. So if you do that, you are like what? A pig that has jewels on it, which is pointless, man. Yeah, it's just pointless. So let's go back to Esther, the second chapter, right? That's what that's going to do. She had discretion. She had integrity. She could have folded. Oh, I am a Jew, by the way. I just wanted to let you know. Sisters deal with that damn overthinking demon. What is the king gonna do? What is it? What if he kills me? What if he tells me what to do? And what if he says this? And what if he says that? You can't be sitting there overthinking. It's like I wanted to just change that. Sitting there overthinking about what the hell is going to happen. Mordecai, which is in the image of your father, tells you to do something. You have that discretion. You keep it. Okay. So, verse 11. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the woman's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. So Mordecai was like that father. He was watching over her. He was watching over his so-called daughter. He was making sure everything was okay, making sure she was good, making sure, she was taken care of. Because he got to watch over her, right? Now, let's jump down to verse 12. It says, verse 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into the king Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months of with oil and myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of women. This shows another thing, right? Esther got purified. These 6 months, these 12 months, this year, she was purified. On a carnal level, all right, this is to make sure the woman's skin was right, to make sure she was healthy, she was good, she smelled good. That's 6 months of oil of myrrh. I mean, think about how good you're gonna smell, man. Inside and out, you're gonna smell great, right? If anybody's dealing with myrrh, if you ever smelled myrrh, it smells amazing. Myrrh, frankincense, man. The resin of these different things, man. Hey, it smells beautiful. And it shows the restraint of the king as well, that he put these women on a year of purification. You're a virgin. Here you are a virgin. You're pure. You've never been touched by a man. You've never been any folly or fornication. You've been chased. He even put on his spirit, and you still got to purify for a year. You're still not clean enough for me. Look at how reserved the men was and how patient they was to lay down with a woman. It wasn't just in the night, giving damn, I don't know, uh, 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 I don't know. One of these harlot names, right? Peaches, damn $40 in a night, freaking off. And you freak off the next night and do some other madness, man. No, these women was reserved for the king, and he was patient for a whole year before he laid down with these women. You had to get purified. You had to smell the best. It was baths and myrrh, and then after the myrrh, you had odors. We don't know what it smelled like. It had all different type of smells and things of that sort. And men like that. Men like that. Men not always into that cheap Victoria's Secret cologne. Let me just spray. I'm not cologne, perfume. Let me just spray my the pineapple, purple, vanilla blossom, and smelling straight alcohol, man. That shouldn't have to do that. She purified herself for a year. I mean, hey, who wouldn't want to listen to a woman like that? Right? So with that being said, now on the spiritual level, she purified herself for a year. In this year of purification, she had to learn her role, has to be how to be a queen, a person. She had to learn the laws of the land. She had to learn what makes this guy happy, what makes him tick. She had to study the king. That purification process is not just you sitting there doing whatever you want to do. Okay. So right there, she was being tried, right, and being purified. Okay. Let's jump down to right. Then thus came every maid unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the woman unto the king's house. So this shows that in the polygamous relationship, which she was in, right, that they had a house for the woman and had a house for the king. Okay. And whatsoever she desired was given her. Right. The Most High put that spirit on him to just do whatever she needed him to do. Now let's jump down right? Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. So he supplanted her. All right, let's jump down. Let's jump down. All right, this is Esther 2 and 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, which were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. So Mordecai sat at the king's gate, and he's hearing these two kings. Chamberlain means, essentially officers. And these two, they kept the door. They sought to kill the king. Mordecai. Now, you got to take something from Mordecai too. Mordecai said, to hell with it. He is a heathen. Let him die. All praise to the Most High. All praise stole some curses. But no, he understood that we were in prison for punishment. He understood that he didn't just want any wickedness and uprising and things going on. They could have blamed that on Mordecai. It could have been all hell breaking loose. So he was a faithful witness. And what did he do? He told Esther. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. So Esther was a faithful witness. Esther understood and saved this man from his death. Right? And that's the spirit our woman should be in. This woman saved a heathen from death. Some of you women, you want to get out the marriage so damn bad, you will let somebody kill your husband. All praise to the Most High. I'm finally free. I'm single again. Somebody pay Big Sean. I'm single again. That's off. What couldn't the Esther say, you know what, I'm tired of this heathen. He stinks. He's Elam. He's a Persian, Iranian, Carmanian, the scriptures. I'm not dealing with him. Understand Isaiah, Carmanian should be raging forth. She could have did that. But she still defended him because she knew her role. And ultimately, the Most High put on her spirit to do that. And it was for a reason, right? So she saved this man's life, man. Or how many sisters really saved the husband's life, or who's willing to do that? Sisters might have heard this and said, I don't know, is that the real truth? And maybe it's the will of some sisters might say maybe it's the will of the Most High. It's the will of the Most High for my husband to die. It is what it is. It's just what it is. No, she told the king, said what happened. Verse 33, and when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So don't think that Esau was the first one coming up with hanging. Right? We got Elam doing it. Elam was hanging people. Okay. So let's jump to Esther, the 4th chapter. All right. Skip 2 chapters. Esther 4, and let's start at 3. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. Now, why is this happening? Right? Haman, the Agagite, the Amalekite, right? He had a spirit on him. Right? Mordecai rent his clothes. He started a fast. He went out to the city, cried aloud, and it got back to the queen. It got back to the queen. Right? So, let's go to verse 4. So Esther, maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. So she didn't know, because she's in the higher state. She don't know what's going on in the so-called streets. Mordecai was her lifeline. Mordecai was her go-to of what's going on amongst the children of Israel. Remind you, the king don't know that. He don't know that she's a Benjamite. He don't know that she's a Jew. He just see a beautiful woman. And 2, we can't just say, we can say more than likely she was dark-skinned, but we don't know how her grandmothers must have looked like. It could have been a mixing. She could have been any color, right? She could have been any so-called color, not an Edomite color, but any color. You know what I'm saying? So he don't know. He just see a beautiful woman, right? And the Most High put the spirit on to love her. So now she's trying to figure out what's going on. Mordecai's throwing the fit. He's about to fast. So Esther's maid and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai. Look how she loved her father, man, her father figure. Some of you women, you hate your father figure. Your stepdad, you say you ain't shit, you ain't my dad. She could have did that. Look at her character. She takes care of who took care of her. She took care of Mordecai. She tried to clothe him. Pretty sure she watched over him. They watched over each other. And to take away the sackcloth from him. But he received it not. So he refused it. Why did he refuse it? Now, verse 5, then called Esther for Hathach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So she needed to know what was going on. All right, now let's jump down. The 7, and Mordecai told him of all that had happened to him. He told him what happened, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasury for the Jews to destroy them. So he put a bag on our head, essentially. And it says also he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to shew it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him and for her people. So this is what we say, hey man, Esther, he about to kill all the Jews. His money on our head. I don't know what to do. Hey, I'm losing it. Hey, can you go before the king and make supplication? Hey, we need you to talk to this guy. Use your charm, use your beauty. Now let's jump down to verse 11. Speaking from Esther, all the king's servants and all the people of the king's provinces do know that whatsoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called. So if you wasn't called by the king, if he didn't invite you, what happened? There is one law of his to put him to death, right? Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, right? So every man, if you try to pull up on the king, try to knock on the door, you can't just do that, man. You got to put the fight, man. This is not America. This is not the White House. You can walk up in here and, oh, this is where the president sleeps, and this is where he burps at, and this is where he uses the bathroom, and this is the right ring and the left ring. No, you couldn't do that, man. Unless you was called, you would have got put to death under the grace if the king stretched out the scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come into the king these 30 days. So, hey, Mordecai, like, hey, man, we need you to make petition for us. But she like, hey, I ain't seen him in 30 days. Now, it don't say she was pissed. It don't say she was, look at the spirit of order she's in. What is the account of Esther banging on the king's door saying, nigga, why you ain't seen me? I need some more attention. Hurry up. Take me on a date. She didn't do that to the king, man. And the king ain't seen her in 30 days, man. He's cold, right? Most women couldn't do that, man. Oh, I've been going for my husband for 30 days. No contact. I'm breaking up with him. I'm done with that guy. She had composure. And also, she told the truth. I ain't seen him in 30 days. I can't just pull up and go up in there. I got to wait. Got to have some patience. So, verse 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, thinketh not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. Don't think that you're going to get saved alone. They say, man, get your mind right. Hey, don't think you're just going to get saved you just because you're in the king's house. No, all of us going to die. Something got to happen. You got to make something happen. What is the sisters going to do right here? Let's act like the rest of this right now here. He tells her, hey, don't think you're going to make it out. Hey, we all going to get put to death. What's your response? What are you going to do? For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such as a time as this? He said, hey, and the Mordecai was in the spirit. Who knoweth? You probably came onto this throne as the queen for this exact time. This is why you were appointed. Not because you had beautiful eyes and your hair was so beautiful in the mirror and the oils and the frankincense. No. You was put in this position really through the spirit to save all of Israel. That was a deep thing. He said, hey, man, the Jews, we might get delivered somewhere place, but all your house, your family will be destroyed. What are we going to do? Now, what did Esther say? When it's getting clutch, when it's time for things to happen, crunch time, what did Esther say? Go and gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan and fast ye for me. So hey, she had to set up. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Right, I'm the queen. She probably prayed. We don't know. It's no count. She probably prayed, asked the Most High for guidance or whatever, and kind of came up with a game plan. So this is what we're gonna do. Gather all the Jews that are in Shushan. Gather all the Jews in this city and have them fast for me. Fast for me. And neither eat nor drink 3 days. So while you fast, in the biblical sense, you do not eat or drink, right, for a minimum of 24 hours. That's a standard. Night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. So she had all her women in order, right? Esther was a mistress. Now, with you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, you hear mistress and you think of whore. No, mistress means lord of the woman, master of the woman. So she had her maidens in order, right? All the maidens and her are going to fast. And so will I go unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. This was bold. I'm going to go do this, which is not according to the law. And if I die, I die. Some say, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to be stoned. And what if they torture me? What am I going to do? And I can just stay in my house and I don't need to save the Jews. The Most High saved them. She could have said that. The Most High going to save them. The Most High going to make something happen. No, she was bold. If I die, I die. Right? I'm going to have to make something happen. I'm going to fast. Hey, this is how women are supposed to go. It don't. The Most High didn't put the spirit on Esther to lead up a damn slave revolt and kill Ahasuerus, man. That's not how women channel their emotions or their actions, man. They do it in a feminine way. And we're going to fast, and I'm going to come boldly to the king and to his petition, and if I die, I die. Hey, man, this is why he chose her. Look at the boldness, the zealousness. I mean, look at the spirit of this woman. Look at the characteristics, man. Let's get a quick precept on that. It's Proverbs chapter 28. Right, most of sisters, man, they bold in wickedness. You bold to tell a man, get up off me. You bold to tell a man, I don't eat at the sugar factory. You're bold to tell a man, hey, I don't want to talk to you. You're ugly. You're bold to say everything except save your damn nature, man. Right? It's Proverbs 28:1. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. A characteristic of the righteous is you being bold, man. And that was the correct way of a sister to be bold, right? To be bold. So let's go to Esther, the 5th chapter. Progressing. Esther, the 5th chapter. All right, let's get this. My mind. Esther, the 5th chapter. So let's go to Esther 5:13. All right, Esther 5:13. It's like Esther 5:1. It's like it. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. So after the 3rd day, she put back on her royal apparel. She fasted and she came into that court. She didn't fold after these 3 days. After the 2nd day, she started overthinking it. She pulled up, right? She pulled up. And it was so when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. So if the king is trying favor on you, you better make sure you got something important to say. Right? That's another thing. Right? You're not just going before your husband asking him, would you love me if I was a worm? Would you love me if I was a little beetle? Come on, Xerxes. Would you love me if I was a beetle? No, you had to come before the king with some knowledge, with some understanding. You don't come before your husband, would you love me if I was a toenail? Right? Your husband ain't trying to hear that, man. Hey, king might have put her to death for that. Not saying that was a season amount of mercy and what he should do, but it shows that you couldn't just go before the king and your man just for nothing. Would you love me if I was a raindrop? and I dropped down the river and I sinked in. Could you swim for me? Right? No, it's no folly talk, man. When you come to the man uninvited, you had to have some knowledge to come up there. Now, verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be given even thee to the half of the kingdom. Now he was weak in the knees for Esther. He said, hey man, whatever you want, I'm gonna give you half this kingdom, baby. Right? He was weak in the knees. Right? I'll give you whatever you want. Boom. Verse number 4. And Esther answered, if it seemeth good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I prepared for him. So she said, hey man, my petition is, hey, come to this banquet. Right? Same thing. Verse 8, she said, Haman, come to this banquet, because I want to speed up for a second time. Now, we got this guy, Haman, right? Hating, right? He literally said, verse 13, I'm gonna get this real quick. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so as long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. So, hey, this Edomite said, nothing really takes away nothing, my pain, my problems, except till I see that Jew getting the hell out the king's gate. I hate Mordecai. And that was essentially the role of her father. Okay? Somebody hates your father, you got to defend him. Right? So, boom. Esther like, hey, come to this dinner. Come to this dinner. I'm going to put it all on the floor at this dinner. Look what she did. She used wisdom. Right? What did she use? She used one of her woman works. Cooking, making some food. Right? What we know man, whether saying it's proper in the world, the way to a man's heart is his stomach. Right? So, hey, she said, you know what? Let me make him some food. That make him, more open, more receptive to what I got to say. So she asked him again, and I want to jump down to 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, look at her verbiage. If I have found favor, if you find favor in me, O king, and it please you, king, right? Look how she's speaking. She's not saying, hey, my nigga, Bati boy and Rasta Krat. She's not saying that, man. She's saying, like, she's speaking in a pleasing manner. A man's willing to listen to that. I don't think she had a tone. If I find favor in the sight, O king, that's not what she was doing, man. She had a feminine tone. Her words was right, and it was in order. If it please you, if I have found favor in you, let my life be given me and my petition and my people and my request. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed and to be slain and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue. So, hey, we about to die. Our people, hey, they're about to be destroyed. They're about to be slain. They're about to be perished. Or they're about to be put to flight. But hey, if we could just be bondmen, enslaved men, right? Slave men and slave women, I wouldn't even hold my tongue. I'm happy with that lot. That's what she's saying. Although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage, right? Meaning he couldn't stop us from being slaves instead of dying because the king said so. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he that doers presume this in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. And she called his ass out, man. She called out wickedness. She called out folly. She called out BS. And she called it out, man. She called out this damn Edomite. She didn't say, whoever eats the cupping, that's who was talking. No, she said, hey, the adversary and the enemy that's I'm talking about is this Edomite, man. He's wicked. He's the adversary. This guy is off, man. She pointed out to her man something that was wrong. And that's what sisters got to do. When you see something wicked and off and something coming against your household, you got to tell your husband. You got to point it out, man. And don't say you get in a battle and you start scuffling. No, you go to a man that is above you and you have him handle it. And you be a faithful and honest witness so he can handle it. It says, then Haman was afraid before the king and queen. He was afraid. He was like, oh shit. He was, oh shit. What's going on? And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. So he was pissed. Hold on, not my baby girl, not my girl, not my beautiful woman. What the hell? What's going on? So I need to take a break. I need to go walk in the palace. It says, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there were evil determined against him by the king. So he started begging her. He probably was on his knees, bowing. Esther, please, please forgive me. Whatever. But guess what happened? Jumping on down to 9. I'm just jumping on down to 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine. Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Now hold on. All right, so he was begging her. Or he was begging her. And when the king came back, he started looking around and he see Haman he's on the bed where Esther's at. Now, if any man walk in on his girl and some man is on his bed, begging, crying, he probably had his hand on her or something. We don't know what he did. And you'd be like, what the hell is going on? And what the king said in his mind, the Most High put the spirit on his mind to say, what? Will he force the queen also before me in thy house? Right? Is he gonna rape my woman? What the hell? I mean, get this guy, man. As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. So they say, man, put a bag over his head, man. Kind of like the CIA. That's how they did Maduro. Put a damn bag over his head, some damn sunglasses you can't see, and what happened? He got put to death. And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then said the king, hang him thereon. So they hang Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. So the Most High put the spirit on this guy, right, to make something happen, man. I got the Most High turning around, right? So let's go to Esther, the 8th chapter. Okay, what the hell's going on here? Esther, the 8th chapter. Esther 8, verse 3. And Esther spake yet again before the king and fell down at his feet and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Can you put away this whole device? Right. Verse 5. And said, if it pleased the king, and if I found favor in his sight, and the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces. So can you recover? Can you return this? Can you change this? And guess what? He did it. Or he did it. And let's start at 11. Wherein the king granted the Jews, which were in every city, to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people in province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for prey. So she essentially put her whole Israel on, the whole nation on. We all came up off of Esther, or she helped us out, right? We found out the wicked guys and we put them to flight, right? Mordecai is saved, right? The blood of the innocent is saved. The wicked is destroyed. She had integrity. She know how to talk. She know how to articulate herself before men when she was in the spirit and when she was in fear. All right. So let's go to Esther, the 9th chapter. Esther 9, instead of verse 13. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all the people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemy. So it was published, right, so that you can avenge yourselves before the enemies, so that the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment, and a decree was given at Shushan the palace. So it was published, and it happened, right, that what? That they can keep Purim, right, and put these damn nations to flight. So, Salakia, verse 15, and Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. And the Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. So look at the impact a righteous woman can have on the whole nation of Israel. Look, I mean, hey man, you know how much? I mean, how many sins probably got blotted out from Esther from this, man? She saved the whole nation, right? This was a big deal. This is what a woman can do, man. Don't think you're just a woman. I'm just here to cook. Shut up. I'm just here to be obedient, and that's all I'm here to do. And I don't really mean much, and I can't bring nothing to the table. And no, man. Hey, if it's your lot, and if the Most High choose you, hey, this can be something like you, man. Right? And it touches on Mordecai being increased. Now I want to go to additions to Esther, right? And touching on her not loving the world. Because another thing that Esther did, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have saved your nation if you loved the world. So most sisters would have gave up. It's like your carbonated water. Most sisters, hold on, what the hell is going on here? All right, see, got your damn KJV. All right, let's get this, search it up. But most sisters, would have gave up. You know what? I like my Mary. I ain't gonna lie, Nick, bro. You gotta figure it out. Mordecai, you should have rose up. She could have rebuked him. You should have rose up. You should have did this. You should have did that. But that's not what happened. Right? So we gotta go into these, these different Bibles. All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. Salakia. All right, Salakia. All right. It's burning up in this joint, right? Burning up out here, man. So, right, let's go back to this Esther. So, showing her spirit, right? This Esther goes into a bit more of Mordecai's perspective, but it does touch also on Esther. This is Esther 5:1. Now, it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on a royal apparel. Let's jump down to. This is the Esther. Maybe it's a little different here. Maybe it's the fourth chapter. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, the list that Esau would go to. So it's like it's madness. I think it would be 14. They're going off. They're going off. So again, when you read the Apocrypha, which I'm trying to pull up, right? They got this. Let me see if I can pull another. Madness. All right, let's go to additions to Esther. It's madness. We ain't dealing with that. Okay, so it's the same thing I was just at, right? Okay, addition to Esther 14:1. Salaki for that. It's madness. Additions to Esther 14:1. Queen Esther also being filled fear of death, resorting to the Lord. So look at the spirit she's in. She resorts into the Most High. She depends and leans on the Most High, right? She don't have a. I mean, well, of course, you got the heathen, But truth of the spirit, she don't really like that damn Elamite, right? She dependent on really her so-called man, right, which is the Most High. She really resorts unto the Most High, her God, and laid away her glorious apparel and put on the garments of anguish and mourning. And instead of precious ointments, she covered her head with ashes and dung. Look how humble she was. Sisters can't even pick up a bug. Oh my God, it's a bug. I can't touch it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Do out of it. She can't even clean her child's pampers, man. She put the dung in her head, man. I know some brothers that put dung on their head, man. Salakia, Leviticus 23 and 32 on the Day of Atonement, right? So she put dung and ashes in her head, right? Feces, man. And she humbled her body greatly. And all the places of her joy she filled with her torn hair. Look how look how humbling this is. Our woman deal with pride on a very high level, extremely prideful. Look what she did to humble herself. She ripped her hair. She cut her hair, man. She was vexed that her people was finna die, man. She cut her hair, put dung in her hair, ashes, you know. Hey. And she prayed. And what did she do? She prayed. And she prayed unto the Lord God of Israel, saying, "O my Lord, thou only art our king." Hey, look what she doing, man. She don't give a damn about Xerxes. You the only king. Help me, desolate woman. That's humble. Help me, desolate woman. I don't really have anything. Help me, which have no helper but thee. And the only person who can really help me in this situation is the Most High. For my dangers in my hand. From my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors, and a perpetual inheritance, for a perpetual inheritance, and that thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them. Amen. So she heard about that. She knew. What did she do? What did she know? She searched the scriptures, right? What it say in Job 8 and 8, right? Like I said, Deuteronomy 32 and 7, man. Right? Ask and then pray thee, really paraphrasing, inquire of the former age, man. She knew about what happened to her forefathers. She knew the law. And now we have sinned before thee. She confessed her faults. Therefore, thou hast given us into the hands of our enemies. She's understanding her judgment because we worship their gods. Oh Lord, thou art righteous. So she confessed and knew the sins that Israel did and was in. Nevertheless, it satisfieth them not that we are in bitter captivity, but they have stricken hands with their idols. So it don't even satisfy them that we in captivity. It says that they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth hast ordained and destroy thine inheritance and stop the mouth of them that praise thee and quench the glory of thine house and of thine altar. Right? This is with the Most High loves to be praised and give glory to. This is giving glory and praise to the Most High. Like my grandfather would say, buttering up, man. You gotta butter, you gotta get in there with the Most High, man. Hey, Lord, you're gonna kill those that praise you. You're gonna put your people to death that love you. You're gonna kill those who follow you only, man. You saying that? That's the Most High. Like, hey, man, I like this, man. I like this. I look at the spirit she's in. And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols and to magnify a fleshly king forever. O Lord, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing. Don't let these heathen rule that's nothing. These nations are nothing. She knew that Artaxerxes, Darius the First, Cyrus the Great, all these kings is off, man. They're nothing. Don't give it unto them that's nothing. Isaiah the 60th chapter, 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 54 on down. And let them not laugh at our fall. Don't let them rejoice over us, but turn the device upon themselves and make him an example that hath begun this against us. Now, some Christians might read this, hold on, wait, why is she cursing Haman? That's not loving your neighbor. Where was loving your neighbor right here? Well, loving you, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about loving everybody. No, loving your neighbor is first off was written in the law, right? Went to the Israelites. And then who's the neighbors of each Israelite was other Israelites. That's loving your neighbor. That's what it's talking about. Not love a Hamite that's down the damn street, man. That's always looking at you with an evil eye. Okay, so hey, bring some judgment upon these people. Remember, O Lord, make thyself known in our time of affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations and Lord of all power. There is no nation that's not below the Most High. The Most High is King of the nations. He orders the nations. He tells Nebuchadnezzar what to do. He tells Shalmaneser what to do. He tells Artaxerxes what to do. He tells these people what to do. He's the Lord of all power. He gave her that boldness, and that's the spirit she was in when she came before that inner court, and she pointed out that damn Haman, man. That was bold. Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Look what she's praying. Look where her mind is at. Sister's probably praying, oh Lord, please don't let my husband get another wife. Lord, please don't let him get another woman. Please, God, Lord, please. That's all. Here, Esther is praying for eloquent speech. You're praying that your husband don't get another wife, man. Lord, please allow him to only look at me. Please, Lord, you know that my husband have hasty eyes, right? That's not the spirit that he was in, man. Right? That she was in, right? She said, "Give me eloquent speech. Give me the correct words. Give me the vernacular. Give me the historicity of the words. Turn his heart to hate him that fighteth against us, that there may be an end of him and of all that are like-minded to him." She was in the spirit, man. Hey, she knew exactly what she was praying for. That's another characteristic. She wasn't up there, Lord, if it's on your will, let me have a Birkin. Please, Most High. Birkin bag, alligator skin, please. And I forgot. Let me get my feet done. No. She was praying about what's happening at that time, what's going on, what specifically needs to happen. She was specific with the Most High, clear. But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that is desolate, where and which have no other help but thee. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous. The glory of the unrighteous is the nations. She hated the glory and the praise that the Elamites, the Persians would give her. She hated that glory of the unrighteous. And she also hated that the other nations and they had glory, period. And abhor the bed of the uncircumcised. She didn't love sleeping with damn Xerxes, man. She said she hated the bed of the uncircumcised. The uncircumcised is primarily to the Hamites, but to all the nations. They're uncircumcised. I hate the bed of the uncircumcised. I hate the nations. I hate this Elamite and of all the heathen. For I hate how they all get down. Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the sign of my high estate. I hate this level I'm on. I don't take pleasure in this. Some eve you dance around. Oh my God, you get a promotion at your job, and you can't stop posting about it on Instagram. I'm an RN. I'm an RN now. Look at me. I'm an RN. I'm a doctor. Say doctor, MD. No, they love these high estates, man. But Esther didn't like that. She said, I hate the sign of my high estate. I hate this damn crown, which is upon my head in the days when I show myself. So my crown is on when I show myself, and that I abhor it as a menstruous rag. This crown to me is like a period rag, man. And that I wear it not when I am private by myself. So she was putting on the front for these nations, man. She truly, she was subtle. That's another thing she had, man. She has endless characteristics. She was subtle. She was discreet. She was beautiful. She knew the law. She correctly prayed. She had a great impact on the nation. She was bold. She knew how to articulate herself. She had resilience. She was obedient to her father-like figure, right? Plenty of character, plenty of things we can take from Esther. Neither, Slakia, and thine handmaid have not eaten at Haman's table, and that I have not greatly esteemed the king's feast, nor drunk the wine of the drink offerings. Because we know these things are sacrificed by the idols. You ain't trying to eat that. Neither have thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to this present, but in thee, O Lord God of Abraham. O thou mighty God above all, hear the voice of the forlorn, and deliver us out of the hands of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear. A complete, beautiful, written, prepared prayer that Esther prayed to the Most High in a time of distress, right? Now I want to grab that. It says she hate what? The sign of her higher state. Let's get some more precepts. Right, that's going into what? Loving at the world. Stop loving the world. Stop loving these ranks in the world, man. Your head sister and you can't. I'm head sister. Kind. You know, I'm head sister. Got some sisters out here. I'm head sister. I'm head Adawanya. Right. I'm head princessa. Right. No. Right. Hey, she didn't love that high state, man. All right. 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. If you become possessed, intrigued by all the things of the world, that you put it in your heart and you love it, and the Most High is not dealing with you. Well, now it's not no law on that. Well, hold on, brother. What law says that? What sin am I in? How am I going off? What am I doing wrong? The Most High said through the spirit of the mighty son of Zebedee John, the apostle, who didn't have any death. Well, he died of old age. Hey, he broke it down. If you love this place and you love this world, and the Most High not dealing with your ass, man. And that's why a lot of women ain't gonna make it. You love Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Like Drake said, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. You love Houston. You love being a harlot. You love having multiple Negroes in your phone. You love having a rent man. You love having a dope boy. You love dealing with the nations. You love hookah. You love breaking the Sabbath. You love shameless clothing. You love makeup and false things. You love lying. You love laughing. You love pleasure. You love pleasures of this world. You love carnal things. You love clothing that is made by homosexual Edomites. You love Gucci. You love Dior. You love different things, which is never going to be enough. You love posting on social media. You love to influence yourself and your friends to do wicked things. You love wickedness, man. You love this world. The Most High not dealing with you, man. And that's to a lot of sisters and brothers too, man. Stop loving the world, man. Esther didn't say, "Oh my God, I'm the queen." You ease, man. Some of you sisters today would have posted on damn Snapchat. Look at the crown. You see the crown. Esther said, "I hate this shit, man." Excuse my language. I hate it. This is like a bloody rag. If Cardi B, if Trump said, "You know, I want Cardi B. I want you to be my wife," she ain't gonna stop talking about it. Some of you women, man, you ain't gonna stop glorying in this world, man. The Most High is not dealing with somebody who loves the world. Look at what Esther was. She didn't love the world. She was the queen of the husband, or the queen of the empire, of the whole world at that time, man. It was nothing greater than Medo-Persia at that time. Than the time of 589 BC to roughly, at the end around 330 BC. And they was the top dogs. And you know what? She didn't love this world, man. She did not love this world. She did what she had to do. She was impactful and she saved the nation. Why does the Most High God says this? What is in the world? What is in the world that men love? Women love. For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh. The only thing that's in this world is desires of the flesh. Food, fornication, massages. What's in this damn world, man? Views and I don't know, popularity and whatever your flesh desires, whatever your heart desires is here on the left hand side. And the lust of the eyes, whatever you desire from your eyes, whatever you look upon, and the pride of life, the accomplishments of life, the man-made accomplishments of life. These things are what? It's not of the Father. This is not of the, if it's not of the Father, it's of the devil. God, but it's of the world. The Most High not dealing with that. These things aren't of Yahweh. It's of the world. And the world passes away. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, DC, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Mississippi, Arkansas, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Mexico. All these different places are going to be destroyed, man. Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Colombia, Brazil, right? The Swiss, Netherlands, Europe. All these continents, Africa, all this thing's gonna be destroyed. This whole world's gonna pass away. This whole rulership and how we will set up is going to be over with. The Most High not dealing with the damn democracy. That's over with. It's going to be one king forever, right? And it's going to be one Lord God over everything. Man. That's Yahweh Yahushua. So, hey, the Most High explains to us that all this is going to pass away. And all that did pass away, Esther. What if Esther abandoned her role as Esther? Israel would have been destroyed, man. But for her not loving the world, keeping her integrity, loving her neighbor, hearing out Mordecai when he told her, hey, don't think you're gonna get away, or you don't think he's just gonna let you live. And guess what? She saved the whole nation, man. So Esther didn't love the world. Esther did not love the world. All right. Esther did not love the world. And she had a lot of great characteristics, right? I don't know. See that? Make stuff disappear. Let me see if I can go back to that, man. This is the Esther. All right, let's get this. Okay, let's get this is Esther 15. And upon the third day, when she had ended her prayers, she laid away her mourning garments and put on her glorious apparel. So now she's getting back in that mode, right? She's using her wit, she's using her charisma, she's using her gal on this heathen. Right? Carbonated water. And being gloriously adorned, after she had called upon God, who is the beholder and savior of all things, she took two maids with her. And upon the one she leaned as carrying herself daintily, and the other followed bearing up her train. And she was ready through the perfection of her beauty. Right? Ready. Like David was ready. And her countenance was cheerful and very ample. But her heart was in anguish for fear. So she, she looked beautiful. Amen. But she was scared. And that's why she was begging for that boldness. Then, having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne and was clothed with all his robes of majesty, all glittering in gold with precious stones. Now let's jump this down. 7. Then, lifting up his countenance that shone with his majesty, he looked very fiercely upon her. And the queen fell down and was pale and fainted and bowed herself upon the head of the man that went before her. And so she was all tore up, man. She didn't know what she was going to do. She was looking at death right here. Then God changed the spirit of the king into mildness, who in a fear leaped from his throne and took her in her arms, till she came to herself again and comforted her with loving words and said unto her, hey, man, so she fainted. Right? She fainted. He said, hold on, what's going on? He leaped from the throne. He took her in his arms. And he asked her what's going on. Now let's jump down. All right, we know what happened. We know what happened. The Most High put on her spirit. She explained what's going on. And she had Haman get put to flight, and the Most High made something happen, right? I can't read the whole account. Can't read every chapter. But through the spirit, this is what we can take away from Esther. This is the characteristics of Esther, the standard of Esther, and this is precepts and accounts that sisters can go back to look at and see the spirit of our foremothers when they're in that spirit or when they're not in that spirit, and this exhorts them to stay in that spirit. Okay? So, let's get that one more time. Romans, right? So the 15th verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So Lord, when all Israel was edified, we studied, we got into this thing, and we broke down many chapters of Esther, basically a whole book of Esther, right? And took away a lot of characteristics from our mighty foremother, right? The Benjamite, right? Esther, right? I want to get that real quick in the Hebrew. Right, let's get Esther in the Hebrew. Right, Hadassah, right, what it means in the Hebrew. Let's pull this up to the blue letter. Salaki, because you got to get into the Hebrew. You can't just be sitting here, you're English Israelite. Right, you got to get into the Hebrew. Right, so Esther in the Hebrew, right, is Strong's H635.
Strong's H635. Esther. Esther.
Right, so Esther, right, in the modern in the biblical Hebrew, is star. Okay, Esther means star. Now I want to get that word right, Hadassah. Right, so Esther means star. So I'll give me 1 second. So this is Esther. So like this is Esther. Esther 2 and 7. And let's get Hadassah, right, which is her true name. Hadassah, right, meaning myrtle. Right, meaning myrtle. Now when you go into the myrtle trees, right, they hang kind of low. Right. So she was humble, right? Myrtle, right? Humble start. So with that, we're gonna give our praise, honor, glorification due to the Most High, Lord and Israel was edified. With that, Kwam Yashala, Shalom. Humble start.